What's happening? I'm at Lake Laline today. I got a special treat. I was able to rent out a Crestliner aluminum boat today. Super excited. I think it's got like a 40 on it or a 60, but this lake is usually pretty tough. We just had a really bad rainstorm the other day. The water looks a little bit more dingier than it typically is. But we're gonna go out here and try to finesse the best we can and try to catch as many as we can. So come along. Let's see what we can do. All right, so I'm in the back of this little pocket. It is, let's see, spawn, post-spawn. I've been here, enough to kind of figure out where everything is, and I have Navionics too on my phone, and we're gonna see what we can do. So this lake is very finessey, like I said in the beginning. I'm gonna try to fish some jerk baits, spinner baits. I want to try to go back into these little coved in areas here and fish a spinner bait and try to power fish just a little bit before I have to start to slow down. So we're gonna go in here and we're gonna see what we can do. So let's check this stuff out. little one. About 4 or 5 pounds. Just throwing it up here real shallow and back to these little creeks. This is the second bite that I had. I had one on the square bill and I had just one on this this spinnerbait. We're gonna keep on going. It sounds like some water is running into this little area right here. Excuse me. How to work this. Pitching around a little creature bait, just a little crawl, green pumpkin. Had some good luck on this the other day, not in this spot, but maybe the same kind of effect. Boom. Pitched up in some of this cover over here. Fell. You can see this. Fishing this cover right here. Just flipping it into it. So I hooked 3 fish, caught 2 on 3 different baits. So I haven't dialed in anything yet, but I'm going to continue to flip this creature bait around some of this cover. Especially with this water being a little bit more dingier than what it typically is. If the water is usually clear and after a rainstorm the water gets really dirty, fish have a tendency to want to get close up to some cover because they're not used to this dirty water, and that structure or that cover gives them a safety type net. So we're just going to go around and I'm going to try to flip back over where I was throwing that spinnerbait, and we're going to see if we can get some. point. I was dragging up that point. And caught a decent one. Probably about a pound. Might not even be a pound. We always hope that they're huge, but even though they're not huge, if you're catching them, you're doing something right. It's not big, but at least it knows or tells you that you're doing something right. What's happening? As you guys can see, that experience was awful, okay? So real quick, I went to Lake Lurleen, rented out a Crestliner 1600 aluminum boat, and it didn't go as planned. I probably wasted about 30-45 minutes just trying to figure out that rig. So instead of creating a bass fishing video that was full of excitement, full of bass fishing catches, I'm going to steer it in another direction to a tip for when you are trying to rent out a boat. Okay, so tip number one, when you go to rent out a boat, go look at the boats first. Go look at them. You know, look them up and down. Make sure that they look comfortable. They're not wet and all that other good stuff. So when I first got there, the lady gave me a boat keys to one of the boats, and I got to the boat, and there was bird crap all over it. And that was the boat that was actually outside of one of the ones that was underneath like a little awning. So I went back and I said, hey, do you mind if I get the one with the awning, or that is underneath the awning? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. So I got it, and I went back out there. So I load everything up in the boat, and I got the key, and I'm looking for the ignition, like where I put the key. And I couldn't find it anywhere. You would think it would be by the steering wheel. You think it might be up on the dash. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was actually where the throttle was for your hand. It was actually behind that, and it took me so long to figure it out, and I was so frustrated. So that was the first thing. Actually, the second thing, because the first thing was the bird poop. The second thing was finding the ignition, which was awful. And the other tip that I want to leave you with is that do not have too much pride. Do not be embarrassed. If there is somebody there to assist you with going over the procedures or how to work the boat, ask somebody, because it was my first time. I'm used to riding in a Ranger RT 188, and I got that pretty much figured out. and I just assumed that everything that I knew from that boat would just go ahead and swap over to that boat and I'd be perfect. Well, that wasn't the case, and I wasted so much fishing time. So tip number one, if you're not really familiar with the boat, go in and ask somebody to walk you through the procedures. So if I would have done that, I probably would have been way better off and would have had a better fishing video. But anyway, so some of the things that I encountered was, one was that the boat was disgusting when I first got there because there was bird crap all over the place. Two, couldn't find the ignition. Three was the trolling motor. The trolling motor must have been sitting outside so long, obviously, and it wasn't up underneath that that rooftop, to where I guess it maybe just kind of like rusted or just got kind of locked in. I'm not really sure what happened. I actually had to use a lot of force, as you can see in the video. I had to like kick it to open it up. So once I got that working, I figured, you know, I might as well try to get the live well to start working so I can start saving these fish for pictures at the end. And I could not figure out the live well. The live well was so crazy. I actually figured out the live well after the GoPro died, so I couldn't catch anything on film for you guys and show you how they survived in the live well because I couldn't get it to work. So on top of that, the other thing that didn't work was once I got to my location, which I should have found out in the beginning because you're always supposed to turn on your electronics to navigate, the electronics didn't work. So I couldn't even use it for, you know, the temperature, the depth of where the fish are, because sometimes you can troll around and figure out where they are, depth range, and I couldn't even do that. So, you know, there were so many different things that was wrong with the boat, and all I could have easily done was just ask somebody to assist me and show me, because if they would have went out there and they saw that the boat was the way it was and some of the things didn't work, I probably could have got the other boat and probably would have had none of these issues. So that's one of the things that I want to leave you with today, is that if you ever do rent out a boat, or if you're not familiar with a boat, just ask somebody that is there working, somebody that might have some knowledge on that boat to help you have a better fishing day. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed all the silly sound effects. That was the first time I've ever done that. But stay tuned, continue to watch Bass with Buddy, and keep those lines wet. See you next time.